Right, so welcome back again. I'm just trying to remember where I was at. Friday, I was going to come down here on Saturday, but I didn't end up coming down here. I ended up just doing some other bits and pieces. Yeah. And had the issues with Mrs.'s car. That ABS light's coming back on and whatever, so I was sort of mucking around with that sort of part of the weekend and trying to work that out. But anyway, I think I've got a couple little bits of body filler to do. Just need to check. And just a wee bit of knock off, I think. And obviously sanding around the edges on this. I'll set that a bit of a scout around, I just can't remember exactly where I am. I might have a couple of bits to fill still yet, just like small stuff. I think I'm happy with this now until I'll bring you around. I think I'm happy with that until we get some primer on at least. God, frickin' sun's so bright. I think I'm happy with this until we get some primer on at least. I think we've got it. And a couple of little spots to fill down here that we haven't never sort of really got into too much. No, I've got a little bit of mucking around down to do here. We sort of haven't really got into that, like we're sort of filled but not filled, if you know what I mean. And I think this panel here is reasonable. Not be. It's just the spots where I haven't really filled up. I haven't really missed anything else, if you know what I mean. And just a couple of little spots in the back just to fill. And then really it's probably drop it back down. So I need to get the jack out of the back of the car and drop it down and get onto the final sand on the roof. And get that sorted. And dial this in, and then we'll have to look at that rocker or sill and floor, and we probably should whip the seats out of the road, and then sort out the tailgate and that front scuttle panel, give that a sand up. I don't think that'll need much. Just a matter of cleaning it up and make sure there's no whatever. And then we've got that front balance piece too, that's to finish off. And then yeah, just finish sanding the insides of everything. So yeah, I think what we'll do is I'll have a quick scout, see what spots I've got to put filler in the back. Yeah, sorry, frickin' it was getting dark there, frickin' moving around the light changes. Yeah, we'll have a quick scout round, get all these last little spots filled up in the back so we can get that all knocked down and ready for a few coats, and then hopefully we don't have to really do anything, maybe just a bit of a block out, maybe a touch of glazing putty, hopefully, if anything. And yeah, then we can drop that down. Drop it down or we pick it up? I might pick it up and have a look at that rocker, see if we can get that dint out of that rocker and whip those seats and stuff out and see if I can get that rest of that carpet out, hopefully without too many issues. I don't want to be fucking spending ages trying to get that piece of carpet out, but at least get out of the road so I can see what's going on with that floor. Yeah, I think that might be the next best bet. Like I could fix the floor afterwards, but I think it's easy to do it now. Then you haven't got sparks and shit going everywhere. One fresh paint. We may as well do it now. While everything's off and everything's out and whatever. Nothing worse than trying to do it. You've put doors back on and to paint around shit and whatever, and then you're trying to fix a hole in the floor. So we'll do that now. Get those couple of little bits tarted up with some body filler, and then we'll dig into that rocker and the floor, I think, and we'll go from there. And hopefully the missus might better come down here. I was hoping she was going to come down here today, but I'm not sure if she's going to be. And we'll try and get some more of this frickin' the jams and that sanded. if I can get them sanded, get somebody else to sand them, it'll just save me a heap of time, if you know what I mean. Means I can get it in primer quicker. So I can try and get this thing painted and back together and out of here. And then I can carry on with something else, if you know what I mean, get something else in here. Because, yeah, I've got those couple of bits to do for the duck. I've got those running boards to finish off. And I'd like to try and get something else in here and do a wee bit of work, see if I can get the studio sorted and see if we can work out some lights and bits and pieces. I just haven't had time to think about it. Yeah. Well, and then hopefully we can get something else in here. And I'm hunting for something to do for myself apart from the 37. I've got the 37 Nash, but I'd like to have something in here that I can play with, that I can do a whole heap of custom work to. I'm really itching to just have something that I can do a few hours here and a few hours there, and do a whole heap of custom work on. I don't even care if it doesn't end up back on the road properly. I just want to cut something up and push my limits and see what I want to do. I'm gutted I freaking couldn't get that 51 Plymouth, eh? That's freaking peed me off. I actually ended up talking to the person that got it from Dunedin, and they said they were hopefully only going to take a few bits off it, but yeah, I never heard back from them, so I thought maybe even if I could have got the, yeah, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't even care if I got a heap of some of their parts to put back on it, if you know what I mean, like if they were taking stuff off it and whatever, because I was going to cut it up anyway, you know what I mean? I was going to chop it and two-door it and all those sorts of things, so yeah. I just want something, to build, and build like a custom, you know, that I can take to shows, and if I can get it registered and warranted in driving on the road, well I will, but you know what I mean? We'll see how that goes, but anyway, we'll get into the last of the stuff now. Right, we're going to add a little bit of extra mud in the back. I'm just going to whip these seats out and whatever, so again I'm going to test this tool. So far I've been really impressed with this thing. Sure, it hasn't got massive amounts of torque to undo wheel nuts and stuff easily, but it will do some. And as long as you got a bar and crack them, especially like, you know, something that's a bit bigger, it seems to work fine, but we'll just give it a wee test in these seats. So these are 14mm head bolts, whatever they are, 10mm or whatever. Wrong way. So, easy enough, you know. I don't know when they will last out, who knows, but it takes a bit of time doing this sort of stuff. Easy enough, eh? Like this battery is, oh it is on 3 bars. I've been using it a little bit the last few days. But yeah, works good enough for what I want to do. So far, I would definitely recommend those tools. Like I said, like if you're wanting to undo your wheel nuts, no, I wouldn't recommend it for that. There's probably a 1/2 inch version, you know, that's 18 volt or 20 volt or something like that. That would be more than capable, but for just everyday nuts and bolts in a car, you know, for most things, yeah, perfect. Freaking absolutely awesome. Like it's undone most wheel nuts that I've done with a struggle, but it's undone them. But anything that I haven't been able to do, all I had to do was crack it and then just wind it off. You know, it still makes it very, even if that's all you had. If you just crack them and then just wound them off with that and then put the wheel back on and just, you know, knock them up tight, you know, without really pounding on it, but just pull them up nice and tight, just whip around them a couple of times quickly, and then drop the car back in the ground and then you can torque them up, you know. So just save a lot of manual work, I guess, you know what I mean? Alrighty, let's see if we can scrape some of this insulation away. Just get in here. Hopefully this hole's just smallish. Don't have to do too much repair, if you know what I mean. Unfortunately, I don't have any dry ice or anything like that. Right. Alright, so I got the patch made. So I've just got to get it basically started tacked in, and then some of it I'll weld from underneath. Looks, I think along here, some of it I'll weld from underneath because there's that brace. I want to try and keep it looking as factory as possible, so if I weld it from underneath in a few spots, especially along this edge where this piece joins to here, I'll better clean it up better, and it'll be just, it won't look like it's been welded in, if you know what I mean. The ribs aren't perfect. It's kind of is what it is. You can only do so much. I could have formed this, I guess, with a bit of timber and then beaten these a bit closer into shape. But by the time I've got it ground in and welded it in and ground down and whatever, and then spray some texture undercoat underneath and whatever, and dole it up a little bit. Most people won't know. So yeah. Anyway, we'll probably get a few tacks on there, and then we'll just have to slowly manipulate it to get it into place. So I'll see if we can get it tacked in before lunch anyway, and we'll go from there. Right, so I've been trying to clean this up and grind some welds back and whatever, especially where these two holes were that we discovered afterwards. I think what I'm going to do, because the chassis runs through here, the box section of the chassis runs underneath here, so I think what I'm going to do is cut this wee bit further along here, cut this piece back up, get rid of the patch I made, and just trim along here beside the chassis, and then just nick into it a little bit, and then I can weld it along here. That hides that weld, and all you'll see is the weld down here and here, and then back underneath. And if I can try and maybe trim a little bit of this material back from underneath into here, we can weld it from underneath and try and hide that weld, if you know what I mean. Just to get a better finish. It's just, there's too many holes in this. It's very awkward to get it welded up. So yeah, I'm going to start again. It's unfortunate. I just didn't realise there was holes there, and I said, oh, I might better weld them up, but it's just too thin and it's ugly now. So we'll cut that piece out and we'll start again, and we'll just see if we can get a better fitment, you know, over top of the well, underneath this piece and over top of the brace there, if we can get it so we're just seeing in there and we can burn a nice weld in there and grind it flat. And as long as we can get it, that'll help hide these ribs too, because it's actually flat through this piece, and we can put a half decent rib in here and it's not going to matter quite so much. It's not going to be quite so obvious that we've jointed, if you know what I mean, from underneath. It's kind of what I'm trying to avoid. Anyway, so we'll cut that back out again. It is what it is, you know what I mean. Like sometimes you do something and you think, yeah, it's not working out the best. With that, if I hadn't had to plug those holes up, I probably would have just left it. But now that I realise that that other piece is pretty so close to there, and we'll just make it again, and we'll just see if we can get it to fit in better and hide the welds a bit better. You know, if there's just a seam along there, well, it's not quite so bad, if you know what I mean. Right, so we'll start again. Right, so we've got a better plan this time. So we're only ever going to see pretty much this weld here. Kind of, if you know what I mean. Because I've decided to take this edge off. I should have done that the first time too. So we'll build a new little flange up to go down there, and we'll just tack weld that on, or spot weld that on a few spots. And then we can just do a little couple of buzzers down there and then I'm going to try and cut off what I can from underneath here, and I've done the same here. I've cut it back a little bit, and what I've done is I've just gone and cut a couple of my old cutting discs that I keep handy. I really need to, I've been meaning to make something up to put in a die grinder to take my old cutting ends of my old cutting discs for doing little jobs like this, or even if it was in a, probably not that drill because it's not fast enough, but like one of my side die grinders or whatever, so I can come in and just tidy up little bits and pieces. I know you can get cut off discs, cut off grinders and whatever, like air tool ones, but yeah, if I could make up something and put them a chuck. I've seen people do it, because just the 5-inch discs, you know, when you get down to there, you can't really sort of get the last of it, and it just seems stupid to spend a lot of money buying cut-off discs, because most of the ones you put on those tools are about that size, if you know what I mean. So it seems silly to throw these away when you can just make up a little arbor, I guess you'd call it, that takes that. And then I'm guessing probably what I could do is just have it so it's got that, and then the base, and then have it just a thread on it that you can just have maybe a really flat, low profile sort of nut on the other side of it that you can just nip up and do up, if you know what I mean. Kind of the same sort of thing as that, but just I'd have it smaller, but just have a little, obviously have a step on this side, but then have a little flat piece. I need to make something up, or get my brother to make me something up or something like that, because he's an engineer, he can whip it up pretty quick, but you know what I mean, that I can just put in my die grinder and go for it, because I know you can get them, but they've only got a little tiny hole in it. But I'd rather just use the ends of these instead of spending, silly money. I've been meaning to do it for ages. I've got a whole pile of them over there. I keep the half decent ones, if you know what I mean. But I'm going to put one of those back on here just so I can get in there and get into these edges a little bit better and try and get some of these extra bits cut off. And then we'll remake that patch bit better. And in theory, when we weld this in, and if we grind it, because we better get it sitting nice and flat down here, we should be able to grind it nice and flat, and you won't see the weld from the bottom, but you'll see it from the top. It'll burn through a little bit into this next piece, and you'll have the 4 or 5 plug welds here. Same, we'll better weld it down here and join it in, so it's a part of the 4, and then join it in there, but we'll better grind that off pretty flat. So the only one you're really going to see possibly is this one, you know what I mean? The rest of it should be blend in way easier. In theory, you're not going to see the join from the top for here. You're not going to see that join. It's, as long as we grind these up clean, you're only really ever going to see that one and possibly that one from underneath, but they'll be a lot tidier than what I had last time. And there's not really any ribs in here. They're there is, but it's kind of flat by that stage, if you know what I mean. the sort of the joint across there, it's kind of semi-flat, so there's only really one sort of hump, but I'll still put them in, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it's not going to be quite so obvious where I've jointed. Right, let's put you back down here. So I've got my bit started, I guess you'd call it. A bit more nicer than last time. Did I bring the frickin' marker yesterday? I haven't marker. Got my new marker in my pocket. So here's the old bit. So we can throw that away. Got my flanging tool, so we'll, not flanging tool, well yeah, it is a flanging tool, but we'll use it to punch our holes in to weld that on. But at the moment we're still too big, not by a lot, oh, pretty close. I'll have to shim it a little bit off, but we'll have to cut. It's going to be awkward to get in here, but it's worth it at the end of the day. We have to trim here, and then I'm going to have to trim parts of the corners out and whatever, so we can get it to basically come up in here, and then slip up into here and meet in here and all the rest of it. So we have to try and probably hold it in place down here, mark what we need to come off on this bottom edge, and then again mark what we need to trim off here, and then we'll have to try and fit it in, and then obviously just start just trimming other little bits and pieces as well. I can sit there like that, and it's also got a bit of a twist in it from running it through the bead roller. Yeah, they're slightly bigger ribs, but my next bead roller up is I think too big. I would like one that's like a bit more square. We might lay underneath here and just work out what we want to do. Yeah, right. That'll have to be tomorrow now. I just don't want to be welding in here and bugger off, you know, straight away and not sort of just sit here for a few minutes and just make sure there's nothing's going to go on fire. So hopefully we can get this welded up without it blowing away too much here. But yeah, it's lapped over top of the chassis rail that's there. It's lapped underneath here. It's lapped on that, which that piece is the only weld that's going to be butt welded is here, if you know what I mean. But it's lapped on the piece. I'll show you underneath here quickly. So yeah, that joint is on here. This joint here is on that seat frame, and the seat bolt's on, so that'll be welded up in there. And then we've got this one here, which will be just, you know, a couple of spot welds, and then we'll just weld the joins up. So yeah, that'll be far better, and at least I'll better grind it off pretty much flat across there and there, and hopefully we'll better get reasonably flat here, and the same with the other one, you know, that runs across the floor. We should be able to get that reasonably well cleaned up, and then, well, no, but not really, if you know what I mean. Like it's a tidy patch, way better than it was before. So as long as we don't blow any frickin' holes along here, try and get it welded in, we'll be good. And this is that dent we're going to fix. So I need to straighten this edge, and then we're going to try and pull this out. It's actually got a big bulge in it there, and it's got a bulge in it here, so hopefully when we straighten this out I might better hammer that up and hammer that back flat, and maybe weld a few nails in here and just pull that out and hammer along here at the same time, if you know what I mean. Try and do the best we can, and then we'll just have to mud the last little bit up. If I had a proper stud puller, I'd, you know, screw around and pull it all out, but that should fix that issue too. So we're pretty good. Right, welcome back this morning. So we'll carry on, we'll get this patch welded in and cleaned up and everything, and then we'll fix this rocker. I can't believe how long it took me yesterday just mucking around trying to get that sorted, and then, yeah, I thought I would have that patch all sorted, but we're doing it twice to get a better result. Yeah, kind of is what it is when we found that extra little bit of rust, and I thought, oh, that'll just weld up, but it didn't really. And yeah, when I give this car back to him, I'm going to tell him to go get some, I think I said this yesterday, go get some dry ice, if he can get some dry ice from somewhere, you know, and freeze all that, what do we call it, all that body deadener, sound insulation in that footwell, and probably should do the driver's side as well. It doesn't look like the rest of it's been that wet, but just in those two areas it's been quite wet at some point, and it doesn't look like they're being sealed very well before they've put the sound deadening on, so it's rotting from in between, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it would be a good idea to do that. Yeah, I would definitely do that, like yeah, get some dry ice, lay it on there. I learnt that tip from watching actually some guys in Australia do that with a car. They're trying to get all the sound insulation out of something to build a drag car, and yeah, they just lay dry ice and everywhere and then just let it sit.
Well, I reckon I can keep banging away on the floor till the cows come home and I won't get it all. So this is the solution. Dry ice pellets. Stuff's denser and heavier than I remember. Listen to it crack. You can hear the insulation cracking away from the floor because the dry ice is so cold, it just cools it so rapidly that it actually lifts up away from the floor. And while we're waiting for that, fuck!
From the extreme cold, and then they just knocked it all out, and then they could clean up. So yeah, that's what I would be doing. I'd begin doing that, and then giving it a bloody good wire brush, and then paint some, you know, some sort of rust convert sort of type primer sort of paint in there, and then probably get some of that, you know, just the sheet stuff, and then just redo it, if you know what I mean. But yeah, because you can just see there's so much rust underneath it. It needs all cleaned off. Hopefully that's the only hole that I can see that was there, so we'll get that welded up now, finally. Right. So this is what's going on here too. So I'll ground that all off, and again I'll just smear a little bit of back over the seams just to help seal anything out. And then, like I said, we'll quickly run over that with some off a little sander or something. Just knock any of the high stuff off of the glass filler, and just leave the rest in the where it's just. I'll just run over it lightly, if you know what I mean, just to help seal any little pinholes if there's anything in there that we may have missed. Just saves trying to frickin' chase every little hole spot on perfectly, if you know what I mean. This, I don't really like, to be honest, I don't really like working on this thin gauge stuff. It's pretty shit to work with. And I probably haven't really got fine enough wire in the welder either. I actually need to reduce it. I've actually got 0.9 in there, which is quite heavy. It's not really ideal for doing this, but it kind of is what it is. That's what I had in it. I really probably should have 0.6, which I think is the 0.23, whatever it is, of an inch. When I was doing the duck, I had 0.8 in that welder. And it was actually better than running the 0.9. It's just, I kind of had it in here so I could do both. I actually managed it good enough, but yeah, I'm just contemplating whether I should actually drop it down to some 0.6. That's where I actually would like 2 welders. If I'd actually been working on that duck in here, I probably actually would have bought another welder. And I would have had some light gauge and some heavy gauge, set up so you weren't having to change it over. At some point I will do that, but yeah, I'll just quickly run over it. I might even put one of the little, might put one of these like fine 80 grit ones on there and just whip over there when I'm just a bit more dried off. So anyway, I think what we'll do now is we'll see if I can get this dint out of this. We'll straighten all the edges of the wheel arch, seams on the rockers. I'll grab a couple of crescents, and we'll get in there and straighten them up with a couple of hammers and crescent and bend them all straight, and then we'll see if we can get that dint out. So I've got my little low tripod here. I dragged that down. I fucking didn't have it here, so I might set the phone down there and somewhere. Actually, I'll re-sort out getting some shit out of the road now that I'm not welding, and yeah, we'll go from there and we'll straighten all these edges up. And then there's also a bolt stuck in that other bottom of the rear guard that broke off. That actually would have been a good candidate for, if I'd known one, probably could have heated that area up, and then try to cool it off, and then you might have wound that bolt out. But yeah, as soon as I went to wind it out, I sort of like put a wee bit of paint on it, and I thought, oh, it's turning, and then it snapped off. So, but yeah, we need to see if we can get that out of there too. But yeah, what we do, yeah, we'll straighten all these edges out first, but I'll have a quick sort out here. Right, I mixed up a bit of filler and slapped it in there pretty thick, so we'll knock that off after lunch. It's not quite lunchtime, but I just realised I haven't fucking got a couple of little jobs I need to do, so I'm going to bugger off a wee bit early and sort a couple of things out, and then we'll come back after lunch and we'll carry on. And then we'll straighten up the other side underneath and see if we can get that bolt out. And then we've got a wee bit of body filler and shit that I put on there a couple of days ago that I've sanded back. Yeah, and then we should be able to, hopefully, we should be ready to clean up around the edges. And we've got a few bits and pieces like this just to clean up and treat for rust before obviously we paint and whatever. But yeah, I'm hoping I might be able to get the missus to come down and do that, and I can attack the tailgate and she can sand in around here. It's like, if she can do it, it saves, it's less time that it just pulls back some time, that I can spend doing other things, and I'm not spending 3 hours or 4 hours sanding around this shit. I'll do it, but if I don't have to do it, I can get out of the door a little bit quicker. I'm trying to get it out this week if I can, or by the end of the weekend would be nice. If I can, or at least have it painted by then anyway. Which gives me today's Tuesday, so like 3, 4, 5 days. I'm hoping that I can get it. If I can get a couple of coats of primer on it, and the next day, yeah, I might be able to. Yeah, I'm hoping. Even if I get it on Thursday morning or something like that, yeah, I might be able to sand it back and paint it by the weekend. Even if it's painting on it on Sunday or something like that. Not that I really want to be doing that on Sunday, but just to try and pull me away head a wee bit, so it's just to keep the cost back a little bit for him, more so than anything. Anyway, well, I go to these couple of little messages that I got to do that I've realised I haven't done, and we'll come back and then we'll attack the side and we'll knock that body filler off down and see whether we're half decent or not. It should be pretty good. I put it on there pretty thick. I put it underneath as well. Just sort of slacked it in there pretty, scooped it on there pretty thick for the little bit that I made up. I keep spreading it on there until it was sort of, most of it was on there. Right, I haven't got much of an update, but I dabbed a bit of converter on the paintbrush and I've sanded back around the windows. I've still got to sand those 2 spots. Dabbed like that converter in here, a couple of bits down there. Oh, found another spot down there to do. Behind the rubber, it was rusty, so I cleaned that up. And did the same around here, sanded this other shit back. I've still got to put a wee bit, still got to put the fuller in them. I haven't done that one yet. I must do that. I should pull these all off, and then I'm not going to frickin' miss anything. Put them in there. In the meantime, so yeah, I'll run around, clean that one up. I've done that one. I've dabbed a bit on there, so I'll clean that up. I don't think there's anything else to do major, so we'll do them and we'll hit them with a wee bit of treatment, and then we'll probably leave the shell alone. I might just mix up a little extra. I have to have a good gander and just see what I need for a little bit extra to top up these couple of little spots. Just see if there needs anything across the back. I don't think so. I think I'm pretty good across here now. I'll have a look. There might be the odd little dimple. I don't think really anything here. I don't think. I think this is all pretty good now. The rubber on these covers a lot. Which we might grab. I might grab a rubber and we might just fit it in just to see what all that covers. I'm trying to remember. You can see the marks out here. Like it covers a fair bit of it. So we're not going to see a lot, if you know what I mean. And what we do see down here is going to be fairly well smoothed out. And what's not perfect when we put a bit of primer on, we can we can fix it before we, you know, we're going to have to put at least one or two more coats on after we do the initial 3 or 4, you know, at least one to cover any bare spots, probably 2, if you know what I mean, just to give it a little bit extra build, just in case there's a couple of weird spots we're just trying to clean up. There's bound to be something, always is, but yeah, so I think we're pretty good there. So yeah, I think I'll just have a recalculate, just see what I need around the side, see whether I need to mix up just a little bit of filler or a little bit of glazing putty or whatever. In the morning when these are dry, I'll run over them again with a disc and then we'll sort them out from there. Most of them are pretty good. It's just there's a couple little, that hole, that slightly bigger hole over there and that little bit there to deal with. I think everything else is solid enough, it should be fine. A couple of coats of primer and whatever and sand, and I don't think anybody will know. So that's cool. Freaking pain in the ass. I'm gonna have to mask out the freaking hood lining, which is a pain in the ass. Because I'm probably gonna have to. The rest of it's fine. It's just there's no trims in the back here, so I'm probably gonna have to try and mask up here, which is paint, and mask there and fucking blowing around these windows. So it's the same colour. It's an absolute fucking pain in the ass, but it is what it is. I can't do much about it, so I'll have to take these off as well. It's really annoying, but it is what it is. And I might as well just paint that all body colour then too. Yeah. It's kind of where we're at, so I'm just trying to get these last little pieces. And these little funny rusty spots, just make sure we give them a scuff. Hopefully anything else that's might have a little bit once we give it a scuff and whatever. Like there's a few spots like this where we'll just, as we get it all cleaned up and sanded up and everything, we'll put a little bit of treatment. I'll put a little bit of treatment on this door hinge. I'll better do the back ones on the other side too, just to try and clean up any little rusty areas around there. And we'll pull the door jamb brackets off it too at some point. These here, oh, can I get in there? No, I might just take them up. I'll take that sticker off. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'll have a quick reassessment, see if we need any other more, and see what we need in the way of filler or glazing putty. I think it'd probably just be glazing putty, but I'll just have to have a decent look. And then I might take that, and then yeah, we'll clean the rest of these up in the morning and deal with them, I guess. Righty. Right. So yeah, I've cleaned this up a bit more this morning. I'm just obviously waiting on that rust treatment to go off, and I was just doing other things. I hadn't got back to this, and I noticed there's just some little bit of bubbling here. So I just run over it with the Rolox. So it's all the way around here, here, and here. This is why you don't quote anything, because this is the shit that bites you in the ass. You know, I'm really close to primer, kinda. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully in the next day or two. But yeah, this is just like another little setback. You know what I mean? Like it pushes the time out, you know, because, you know, next thing I'm another half a day fixing this, you know, cutting it out, cleaning it up, building little patches and whatever, and making it look right. So yeah, it is what it is, but, you know, what do you do? You can't leave it like that, because this is structural rust, you know. Like, I can hide it, you know. At the end of the day, if you really wanted to, you could just put a little bit of glass, or a little bit of glass filler in there, or a little bit of body filler, and just hide it for the meantime and deal with it later. But biggest problem is if you deal with it later, it's worse. Next thing you know, you're rebuilding this whole fucking corner. At the moment, it's a few small holes, and you might better get in there and treat it, and just, you know, put some small, you know, put a couple of little small sections in here and just grind it up and clean it up and tidy it up, and then Yeah, and then put a little bit of filler over it, and it'll be fine for a long time. But if you don't do anything with it, you know, next thing, it's 3 or 4 years down the track, and the rest of the car looks mint, but you got this big frickin' blowing out problem, and then shit's rotting out everywhere. You know, especially when you're spending, you know, a few $1,000s trying to tidy the fucking thing up. It's quite good we did find this, because I probably wouldn't have looked in there. It's on the other side, but it's you know, it's right at that point where there's probably been, I don't know, maybe some water running in through from here somewhere or whatever. I don't know where it's got into here, but yeah, we have to do a little bit of repair in here as well. We'll give this a clean up, and I'll give it a wee blast with just some shit, and then we'll spray a heap of that rust convert in there, and obviously clean it up, and then we'll straighten this out and use a pattern and this to make a new piece. Now it's definitely starting to get pretty thin in there. Like, I would probably struggle to weld that up, but at least where I've cut it up here, it looks pretty, you know, like above it looks pretty solid. And they had a bit of shit in there too, you know. Probably caught it at the right time. If it had gone much longer, it would have been really starting to become an issue. Because the water's running into here as well. Like, hopefully the drains and the rockers work well. Anyway, we'll make a patch and clean that up and fix that little bit. I'll pull that inner trim piece out and we'll sort that, and yeah, we'll fix this bit.